Yes, friends, today we are going to talk about the major drivers to the crypto industry. What are the major differentiators that driving the growth in crypto industry? And then there are challenges associated to those drivers, and how do we really balance those challenges so they do not become problems but they become opportunities. So what are those three differentiators and drivers of the crypto industry? And the first one is really the DAO structure, decentralized autonomous organization structure. The second one really is tokenization. So bigger assets can be sold to smaller entrepreneurs. So smaller entrepreneurs could be part of a bigger piece of a pie, and that is tokenization. And the last one is really the blockchain, which basically ensure the safety and security of the asset. So because of these three differentiators, we have resolved many issues that will otherwise hinder assets to be sold on blockchain. So these three drivers really help us solve many problems which could occur in Web 2. For example, security and safety and carrying of the assets in real time and transferring of the asset in real time, that's only possible with blockchain. Then the organizations are now going from typical pyramid to more virtual organizations, more autonomous organization, and that really is the decentralized autonomous organization structure which is available for crypto world, for Web3, but then there are challenges to that, and we're going to talk about that. And then of course the tokenization, that people may not have $1 million, $10 million to own a big asset, but then you provide tokenization that help small owners own piece of a pie, and if the bigger piece of pie gets bigger, then everybody benefit. And even if it gets smaller, unfortunately, then your loss is not that big either. So this is the reason that these are the drivers and differentiator of the crypto industry. But here are the challenges with it. So the biggest challenge is really with the DAO. So, decentralized autonomous organizations really are comparative to a charitable organization, because a charitable organization have volunteers, and in DAO that you have entrepreneurs. So those entrepreneurs and volunteers, they may not be drawing a lot of salary or benefits, but they enjoy a lot of empowerment, a lot of power to make decisions. So in a DAO, there is an entrepreneur who may not be making any salary and working very hard, but then they have lots of kind of decision-making power because they can affect the decision of the entire DAO. Likewise, when you have a volunteer organization or in even a small town board or council, these people are not paid. What do they have is they have a lot of power. They can make a decision on giving you approval on a piece of land or on any other asset we need to develop. Then that basically you have a lot of power to make the decision and provide that certification, even though you don't make any salary out of it. So DAO organizations are very much like volunteer organizations, but the difference is over here they are not volunteers, but they are passionate entrepreneurs. So what these passionate entrepreneurs do is they provide lots of brain power, lots of skill set at not a lot of money, but they are driving in the beginning is a passion. This whole NFT is all about passion, all about loving art, but then it becomes profitable mechanism for people. So likewise, crypto started with a passion, started with safety and security, started with tokenization, and started with decentralized autonomous structure. But then of course there are challenges. So what are the challenges in decentralized autonomous structure, which may not be in the charitable organizations? In the charitable organizations, you have people and you have volunteers, but then there are those bylaws they follow, and bylaws tell them how to interact and what are their boundaries. Unfortunately, in the DAO structures, people have not developed those policies, procedures, protocols, bylaws. Now these things, easy said than done. So charitable organizations, have developed over the years, and they have developed their, policies, procedures, and bylaws. Whereas DAO organizations are very, very new. People who started these organizations, either they have no experience or they're entrepreneurs. They are, 19, 20, 23, 24, 25-year-old people, most of them, and they don't have a lot of experience. But are some people who have some experience, but they have a Web 2 experience. So Web 3 is a totally new word. So what do? It's a different organization. It's not a pyramid organization. It's a flat DAO organization. So what do? We basically have to build policies, procedures, and bylaws. And those policies, procedures, bylaws, by and large, have to come from two type of entities: the Web 2 companies and also the charitable and bylaws type, any organizations that kind of govern, like your town board or council, on a volunteer basis. So you need to take, charitable organization bylaws, and you need to take Web 2 experience, and you need to merge it. And that's exactly at StudyStack. Fortunately, I had experience to run charitable organization from 7th grade. I've been running charitable organizations, and I'm still head of Humanity Bridge Foundation. And then I had an opportunity to work and help global Web 2 organizations for operations, IT, and developing, cell phones and medical devices. So in different silos, whether that is operation silo or a supply chain silo or IT silo. So I've developed that. So I see the opportunity, and I see a huge challenge. I see a challenge that people will be, because people are people. People have a problem that they basically want to, assert their ego, and they want to assert their power, more so than even drawing a salary. So it's important for entrepreneurs and founders to understand that these people are here for a passion because they have their self-esteem and ego. They want to satisfy their self-esteem and ego, and unfortunately entrepreneurs don't understand that because they are focused on developing products and services. So for that reason, I think part of StudyStack's module would be the lesson learned from all these organizations, from Web 2, from charitable organizations, and building policies, procedures, bylaws that how DAO organization should run. So that would be a very big thing. Remember, in the triangle I showed you, there are three main assets of any organization, and especially the crypto organization: people, process, systems. We are trying to develop systems, but the system has to be developed by automated processes and by perfected processes, and that come from people and built by people. So people, process, systems. So what we need to observe, first of all, we need to set up some bylaws, some policies, procedure, how the people will interact and how they will assert their power and satisfy their self-esteem. And then also how they then automate the process and how that process can turn into a system. So this not only helps StudyStack or one organization, but it helps the entire Web3, and that's the reason this is part of the Metaprice interactive system. So when you go from, in this picture I'm showing you, when you go from people to process, you have people development. When you go process to system, you have process automation, because when you automate the process, become the system. And when you go people to system, you have that documentation. So you need to develop, document, and automate the process. You need to develop, document, and automate the process, and hence your people as well. And so your people will interact in much more harmony if there are policies, procedures, and bylaws. The problem with the new organizations, the problem with especially DAO organization, Web3, is that this is basically a very entrepreneurial. Entrepreneurs don't really care for boundaries. They are geared, and their mindset is that they don't accept any boundaries. They just go and develop. And that's what they're good at. But as we move forward into more structural world and we want to attract big companies, we need to then learn and develop Those are people. We need to develop policies and we need to develop systems. And that would be the module of the Metaprise interactive system. Just like in the ERP system, you have HR module, you have operation module, you have sales and marketing module. Likewise, we are going to create, modules focused on DAO structure, policies, procedures. We need to develop, and we are developing the process automation module, and we are then developing overall system. So that's exactly we are going to benefit the entire industry and harmony. And Rome is not built in one day. It takes time. Every single family organization have growing pains, and if you are having growing pains, don't worry. That's part of the opportunity. It's not a challenge. It is a challenge if you don't solve it, but it's an opportunity if you solve it, because then you really have the best structure. DAO could be a best structure if it has policies and procedure, and then tokenization is the best way to divide and conquer. And then, of course, blockchain is the best place to own the asset. So once this happens, then the whole real world assets and policies and procedures and processes will really benefit the entire industry, and that would really create a mass adoption, and a lot of big entrants will come. And that's the reason we are developing this Metaprise interactive system. Today's focus was that how do we turn challenges into opportunities in the DAO structure, and especially focus on people. In the next videos, we talk about how do we really automate processes and what are the further elements of our system. Until then, have a great day, and we'll see you later.